Hello and welcome to another episode of Laptop Retrospective. This is Think Design Stories. In this series, we will be going behind the scenes on one of the most iconic laptop brands ever conceived and is still going strong. Today I am joined by David Hill, who started with IBM in 1985 and was with them until May 2005 when the IBM ThinkPad division was purchased by Lenovo. Since then, David has held several positions between those two companies, including the Executive Director of Design, the Vice President of Corporate Identity and Design, and the Chief Design Officer and Vice President of Experience Design. When it comes to ThinkPads, there are few people that know more than he does. Out of all the stories that David Hill has shared with me up until this point, this one will probably be one of the most unique ones for a very long time. We very much take for granted the stickers that we find on our laptops when we purchase them. However, as David will explain, this is a much more complex situation and with a lot of money at stake.
That kind of first started really early in my leadership role for the personal computer business and the design of all their offerings. And at the time, a lot of our competitors used these stickers on their, the Palmrest and by the display or whatever to mostly, I think at the time it was Intel inside and whatever the latest processor was and such. And there was a bounty for doing this. Nobody put them on just because they had nothing better to do. There was money associated with it, so a lot of money. And IBM was very against doing this, really at a corporate branding perspective, because IBM really didn't want to co-brand with anyone unless equity somehow flowed to them from a branding perspective. So they were very, very against the idea of putting these stickers, ingredient brand stickers, on any of the personal computer products. Well, obviously, the personal computer business had a different view because there was a lot of money on the table. And this money could be used for advertising and funding of product development, almost anything you could, marketing, anything you could possibly imagine. And I was kind of caught in the middle on this because I agree it's not a great corporate branding kind of thing. It sort of dilutes your own brand unless you don't really have a brand, and then you're trying to elevate your own brand. And also from a design perspective, it kind of messes up the design. And if they're on the Palmrest, they wear off, or there's a bunch of things about them I didn't like. So anyway, to make a long story short, IBM eventually, corporate IBM, gave in because they were tortured so much by the senior leadership in the personal computer business, who kept, showing them the blank check as to how much money they were passing over. And I think there was actually a meeting where I think the vice president of marketing said, "Okay, well, we won't put the stickers on if you'll give us the equivalent amount of money from corporate branding budget." And that was a short conversation. And so the next thing I know, I'm in this meeting talking about these stickers because there was a design implication. How big are these stickers? What do they actually look like, and all this kind of stuff. So I went to the meeting, and oddly enough, it was during a time where IBM had a big event every year, which was called Take Your Child to Work Day. And I had my oldest son, Eric, with me, and he was sort of shadowing me to see, what does dad do at work? So I went to this meeting, and he wanted to play in the shop and make, computers out of cardboard and stuff like this. I said, "Well, I'm going to go to this meeting. What's it about?" "It's about stickers." And he's like, "Stickers? Really? They pay you to talk about stickers?" I said, "Yeah, it's part of the show." So we go to this meeting, and the marketing guy from the personal computer business is there. And we get on the phone with these guys at Intel talking about this. And of course and they kept, referring to me, "Well, what, you have any questions, David? I said, well, I need to see the artwork. I need to see the rules in terms of the the size of these things. I know about positioning. Does it have to be, where can it be? Because I want to put it on the bottom. That's what I wanted to do. In the bottom, in the lowest contrast ratio possible. So I asked for the rules, and so we're talking all through that, and they were they're very open, and okay, we could work with you. These are the rules, but they're really only kind of guideposts. If you have a proposal, you're at IBM, we would entertain it. And there were some other questions that I think that came up, and one I raised was, well, what about the adhesive? I mean, are these things permanent? Because if it's permanent, my interest level goes down a couple of notches versus somebody could remove this thing. And the guy, I don't remember who this person was at Intel, but they said, well, what do you mean by permanent? I said, well, like if I tried to pull it off, the paint would come with it. Oh, no, well, we wouldn't want to do that. And he said, well, you just tell us what adhesive you want. And, so I said, okay. So we left the meeting, and my son is kind of shaking his head, about, that was a weird meeting, Dad. We just spent an hour talking to a guy about a sticker on a computer. Yes, okay. So let's go back to the design studio. And so anyway, they sent me the information about the stickers, about how big they could be and where they wanted them, and the contrast ratio and the artwork. And we made some adjustments to it, trying to make it look better on the computer. But they had rules. You couldn't put it on the bottom. You couldn't make it like you could only see it under a black light, or something like that. They had very specific rules, but they didn't have anything in the rules about the adhesive. There was nothing. So I just went back to what they said in the meeting was, you specify the adhesive, we'll use it. So I called 3M on the phone and got the adhesive specification for Post-it notes. And we sent that to Intel as the spec for our adhesive for these stickers. And I remember the IBM marketing guy said, that's genius. These things, they're just going to peel it off instantly. And I said, yeah, it's not going to leave any residue, and it'll come right off. So we sent a whole package with the adhesive spec and the recommendations or the guidelines about how we wanted it placed and all this kind of stuff. I thought, well, okay, that's over with. We're going to make a whole lot of money off of this. I think it was about a day and a half later, I get called into another meeting on this. And fortunately, my son wasn't there at this time because he didn't have to endure a second meeting on this topic. But it was a guy from Intel, and he started off immediately. So we got everything you sent, but he said, I got to tell you on the adhesive, nice try. We researched that. That's Post-it note adhesive. I said, oh yeah, well, you said we could use a removable adhesive, so that's the one we spec'd. He said, we're not going to do that. So then we had to go round and round with 3M and get various samples of adhesive, because we didn't want to pull paint off. Yeah. Because these ThinkPads were painted with a rubberized paint. And early on, there were a lot of adhesion issues that would crop up, and wear issues. The last thing we want to do is have something, you peel the sticker up, the paint comes with it, or blisters it, or something like that. But eventually we agreed on an adhesive specification, and it was thoroughly tested, believe me, in Yamato to ensure it didn't ruin the paint, and you could actually get it off. And if you didn't like it on there, you could dab the sticker on it a million times. It would self-lift off the adhesive. But it was my one shot at, maybe we can just slip this one under the radar, and they're just not going to know this. It's Post-it note adhesive, but it didn't work.
That's awesome.
Who knew? There was a lot of money. There was a lot of money. I don't remember the numbers, but there were many, many zeros on this. So it really was, it was a major disadvantage. for IBM to not take advantage of these funds. I still don't like them though. Yeah. And I always pull them off instantly. Whenever I get a new computer, I take it off very carefully, because if you don't take it off immediately, then your palm, when you touch your computer, your palm will wear the paint a little bit. And then if you do take it off later, you'll have a little rectangular spot there that doesn't match the rest of it because it hasn't been rubbed on or hasn't been exposed to light. So, if I'm sitting next to somebody in a meeting, it used to be, I'd research, you can take those stickers off, and I'd show them how to do it, basically by doing it.
I've seen a fair few ThinkPads come and go through here, and you can always tell at what point the sticker was removed because of that ghosting.
Yeah, for me, it's the first 30 seconds. You take it out of the box, you take the sticker off, just like that.
Yep, that's the take-home advice today. Is the sticker comes off.
It is. The stickers, they don't do anything for you. It's purely a money game.
As a follow-up question, because I was thinking about this while we were talking, you know how some brands that they kind of do the sticker thing overkill. Like they'll have a sticker in the bottom right-hand corner for like the specs in the computer, CPU processor, all of that stuff. Some of them will have like advertising stickers. Now, I have only ever seen one ThinkPad that was kind of dressed up with a sticker remotely like that, and I think it was one of the early series. And then never
like
again.
A point of sale. Yeah, it was a point of sale kind of thing. There was a marketing person, I can't remember the name anymore. There was a marketing person who was, they had actually come to IBM from another company. And it's not Rob Herman. But there's another person that I can't remember the name, but they were possessed with, we didn't have consumer packaging. We didn't have all this kind of, because their view of consumer packaging was it had all kinds of blamos all over it. That would say, ergonomic Palmrest and whatever to make you want to buy this thing. And I can remember being in all those meetings and trying to point out, you don't actually see the box, you already bought it. I mean, it's not like walking down the aisle of the supermarket looking at a box of hamburger helper. It's completely different. You buy the thing, it's on a shelf, it's got a number on it. You take a little piece of paper up to the front and you pay for it, and then a guy comes up with a cart and takes it to your car. The packaging is got nothing to do with closing sale. And we would have those arguments all the time. And then on the ThinkPad, they wanted to put these stickers on I think it was on the A cover, actually. I believe it was kind of shaped like a pie. Red, like a quarter of a red circle, and it had some stuff on there, some speeds and feeds, and ergonomic keyboard and this kind of stuff. And those things cost money, and they just go shoot, it tore them right off. And I think what killed that thing was some secret shoppers or whatever, went to one of these big box stores, and those stickers were all removed. So it's like, what are we even doing this for? Yeah. People don't read that stuff.
Well, they don't read it, and it wears terribly, and they're big, they're gaudy. Some of them have that like holographic effect, and it's like, it's not a Hot Wheels car, it's a computer. Come on.
There's companies that will literally put a sticker on there for anything imaginable. The audio, the process, the chip, the camera, it's just ridiculous. You see some of these computers and they've got like audio branding, and like, you're gonna have like a Bang & Olufsen stereo sound in your laptop. Not really.
No, not like all 2 watts of it.
Yeah. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can really do. I mean, you can make it sound a little bit better with various things, but you're not gonna rock the house with that thing. No. I'm sure you can imagine I've been in other meetings where people wanted to put stickers on, and I would always fight this because I thought they were useless. And I think I went to one of these meetings and I stuck on the outside of my computer a Chiquita banana sticker and went in the meeting with that on there. I think the guy sitting across the table from me said, "Well, I guess we know where you stand on this." Yep,
It's like,
I don't
oh,
want to put a sticker on.
yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't want to waste your time, guys.
Sorry.